some loud booms in the background, some fireworks going off. Um, Nothing to be nerved about. It's just it's the 4th of July, so you got to understand that's going to be going on for a while. The topics that I'm going to talk about are the popularity of negativity, popularity of negativity, um, music, music, the effect on our culture, and is it good or bad? Um, Sorry about that. I apologize. I'm trying to get some stuff cleared in the background also too while I'm doing this. So it's like I'm trying to do four things at once. I got sounds going on, the sounds going off. So everything is just popping at one time. Yeah. So once again, the topics are the popularity of, of negativity, music effect on culture. Is it good or bad? Is the last topic. Um, as usual, you know, I play my slapper slumpers in the background. This time I'm just gonna let it play because I'm also streaming on television right now, and I'm trying to get a visual of what I look like. That way I can get a better perspective on how my movements and everything is done. The popularity of negativity. Um, right now, as you can see, everything negative is pretty much brought to the forefront as being much more popular. So when we look at things now, everything has to have things in it that are not really necessarily needed by us to watch or view or even to intake. And overall, for children, that's even worse to put too much emphasis on stuff that is not positive. In this day and age, we see that there's a lot of negative popularity. One of the things that sometimes boggles me is that in our community, we polarize individuals based upon the fact that they're not doing certain things that are popular. Like, how can I state this? When it comes to style or having a certain look or being in a certain designing outfit by a company, we choose to separate a person. We put them on ice when they don't have these type of you know certain threads on. We make them seem like as if they are less of a person. We depict them as being broke. We depict them as being dusty. We depict them as being that they're not seen as a person. They're only viewed at because they're pretty much the opposite of what everybody else is. And whenever you see something that's opposite, that's doing something outside of what's popular, and according to society right now, being negative is the most popular thing. We look at the shows, Bad Girls, um, all these different shows that are on the networks where females are fighting. We're looking at Bad Guys, Good Girls, Bad Guys, these type of shows. We look at all these shows that depict nothing more but just negative. The Housewives where they're arguing and fighting. Shows where it's like most black males are on there and they're talking bad about each other. All these interviews. We look at these vlogs. We look at these online platforms when you're watching YouTube, TikTok, um, Facebook. Anything is always depicting information that's bad. People are much more in tune to negative lifestyle. And whenever a person does not put that out or manifest that about themselves, people tend to try to put them in a certain corner, like as if they're irrelevant to what they're doing. This person may not want to be involved with something that is negative. They may not want to have a projection of negative energy. They may not want to be involved with killing, murder, selling drugs, holding guns, doing stuff that's bringing attention to them in a negative manner. So, what people will do is they will now try to use this popularity of being negative as to downplay, disrespect, um, step on, as we would say, like basically pretty much they would try to discredit you. They'll try to make fun of you. They'll try to belittle you just based upon the fact that you're not doing something as a whole with the whole crowd. Like that old saying will always say, if one person jumps off a bridge, are you going to go jump off a bridge too? If your friend jumps off, will you jump off too? Like basically, are you a follower? Are you a leader? And sometimes when you're a leader, you don't want to do what other people are doing. And that's a good thing because we need that more in society. We need people that lead more. We need people that want to do something outside of the negative narrative. I apologize. Let me get this mic a little bit much more closer because I know my voice has to carry a little bit much more higher. Because I noticed that when I go onto certain platforms, it turns up, and certain ones it turns down. So I want to make sure you can hear me clearly. So the popularity of negative actions, negative lifestyle, negative thinking, negative conversations, negative vulgar acts, it's become a norm. And people have pretty much made their whole life to use this as a way to get attention. As we can see, when we turn on our social media apps and we look at the first thing that pops up, it's always a fight. It's always something going on with an artist. It's always a death, a murder, um, people arguing, um, something being talked about that's negative, some type of person that has a show that's talking about another artist and a person that's given some type of conversation with them that's getting them to talk about that person, and then people are commenting, and then we just keep seeing it's like it's a norm now. Everything has to be negative, out of pocket, rude, disrespectful, and it's kind of hard when you're living in a society where people reward ignorance as something of intelligence. And in my culture, I believe that we have somewhat glorified it too much. We take it to a point to where it's overboard. We don't really need to do all of that. But some of the people that have gotten this publicity from being negative is because they're being funded by others. Now, I have watched a couple of videos recently of a lot of people in my community that are tired and fed up of seeing ignorance as being a virtue of the only way out of any type of life situation. You know, everything has to be a yelling contest, a pissing contest, a screaming contest. There's no sitting down, having no debates, no dialogue, talking like grown adults, coming to a solution. It's more of individuals just don't want to get done in a manner to where they look like they're losing. So when it comes to that point, they will go overboard and decide to either fight or they'll decide to do something that is in a negative manner. And then what happens is when that's put online, because it's everything nowadays is recorded on video or recorded on a device to where people can hear it or see it. And then that's projected on these platforms for children, adults, people of other cultures, nationalities, other people across the world to see it, to hear it. And then they get a certain perspective thinking that this is how we all interact in society. So when they come to places like America, they feel like, oh wow, these people that I'm seeing are just like the ones that I seen on the internet. So the only way I can communicate with them, I have to talk to them in that type of dialogue. I can't talk to them in a proper, you know, English conversation. I need to talk to them in a much more lower vibration. And if they say something wrong to me, I have to be very high pitched and angry and yell and scream in order to get them to understand that I'm not afraid to live my life. So this becomes a norm. So that's why I stated negativity has become the norm. It's become the popularity thing in our society, or in society as a whole. When you look at these movies, you're seeing that people are projecting negativity as a good thing. These people in their daily lives, they don't do this at all with their children themselves, but them projecting it on that manner is something very odd. I don't understand why this is so important today in this day and age of what we call sorry about that, I apologize. Acceptance. I couldn't get the word out. I got tongue tied. Acceptance. And we're supposed to accept everybody. We're supposed to accept people in same sex marriages. We're supposed to accept people that are um, in these type of different spiritual religions. We're supposed to accept people that are socially distanced, introverts. We're supposed to accept people that have cultural bias. We're supposed to accept people if they have prejudice or dislike of something. So this day and age is acceptance. We everybody's being accepted on whatever they're supposed to be comfortable with. We have people that are what we call furries. I think some type of form of person who dresses up like an animal, and they feel like that's the life that they're supposed to be given. We have people that want to differentiate and be another race, even though they're not that color, that race, but to be accepted in society, we're supposed to accept them and their own belief spiritually, or their own belief of who they are, what they perceive to who they are in society, who they want to be. Remember, we have the he, her, the pronouns. We're accepting that. So acceptance, us. I can't say, I can't say the word properly. Ups, upset, upset, accepting a person is pretty much for who they are and what they are is done now in the proper way to where it's supposed to be the norm. And in the society, it also goes against the truth of what the norm is, because if we look at it, negativity is popular. So when you see somebody that's different from you, the first thing is, if the whole group of people over here are on the in crowd side and you're on the out crowd side and you're not really accepted by them, they can disrespect you, talk about you, laugh at you, make fun of you. So this is a lot of contradiction that's going on here. And but negativity being the norm has caused a lot of catastrophic damage throughout multiple different aspects of society right now. And from my experience living in my culture, when I grew up, there were not a lot of examples of, how can I state this, of men that had a much more feminine disposition, like men that were considered to be LGBTQ or considered to be in the gay community didn't really exist at that time. People felt like that was a bad thing. They didn't want that image to be placed upon their family. They didn't want loved ones like that around. They excluded them from events. If they did come around, before the person came, everybody would warn everybody that they're coming. It was like like something bad, you know. So when the day of acceptance came, when the 21st century, when a millennial of the millennial type of young children and a mindset of everything to be now, everything is accepted. So you're pretty much having to understand and to deal with people and to properly um you know have a congregational setting with them. You have to accept them. You can't be rude. You can't be out of pocket. You can't come with your own personal feelings. But at the same time, you're seeing that when that's being done, they're also projecting the same image of talking about people being accepted. So we're constantly going back and forth with contradictions in our own society. We don't really know what truly is the right norm or against the norm that we supposed to really follow. And it's like it's a real like a whirlwind. It's nothing really based in stone. Everything is up in the air. It's not really true. It is true. It's lightweight true. It's just confusion. It's chaos and confusion. And chaos and confusion is popular now because it's negative. Nothing is stable no more. And also when I was growing up, people in my neighborhood that sold drugs, there weren't a lot of drug dealers. There weren't a lot of gangsters. People like that were looked down upon. And if they did do what they did, we knew who they were. They were like a handful. Like you can count them on your hands, 5 people that sold drugs. 5 people, the same 5 people may have been to prison. Same 5 people may have hurt or murdered somebody. They were seen for who they were. Now, as the age of negativity comes and the popularity of negativity comes around, now we're seeing everybody's a gangster. Everybody's a murderer. Everybody's a drug dealer. Everybody's involved with something criminal. And somehow, acceptance is supposed to be done in a manner to where that is the popular norm to be negative. When you look at these TV shows, it's very popular for young women to act very negatively, to have tattoos on their chest, on their neck. Most of these females are more tatted up than men. To be angry, to be upset, to be ready to fight at a drop of a dime, to want to project themselves in the most negative manner possible, but it's popular. So what I'm saying in a whole is that the popularity of negativity is something that is pushed upon society. When we look at these movies and these cartoons, it's too much in it. It's too much negative cursing. It's too much negative sexuality. It's too much of stuff that's not supposed to be discussed with children about sexual orientation, which can be seen as a negative thing in the most adults' eyes that they don't want their child to know about. But since it's popular and everything is up in the air and everything has no foundational base to go back on and try to figure out why this substance even exists, it's just more of the fast pace. Everybody has to do it, no matter what it is. It's popular. Popularity is not always a good thing in a society because, like I said to you, these drugs now have caused a lot of problems too. And the negative effect of them being popular cause a lot of kids to want to try them. And then when they're trying these drugs, they don't really know why they're trying the drugs. Sorry about that. I'm about to pop on my metas real quick. I have to just record this for my content that I create online. There we go. So yeah, negativity is one of the most unbalanced things in society that we live in right now. But because of the popularity of being negative, it's the norm. We can look at the president, the former president, not this president we have right now in office, but the former president, how his son was doing drugs. Okay. The comments that I seen online were atrocious. They were crazy. They were like, "Oh yeah, he's a pimp. Yeah, hell yeah, he got some hoes with him. Oh, he doing it. He taking it back to the '80s." They were applauding him for doing drugs, for having sex with prostitutes on video with government secrets, even though he's in a position to where he's not even supposed to be involved with anything like this. He's compromising secrets, things that he's not even supposed to be giving out to people in society. And he's doing hardcore drugs, street drugs, and videotaping himself with a gun nakedly. But the way that people seen that, like when I was growing up in the early 80s, that will be seen as a way of that person should be ostracized. They should be removed from society, period. We should never hear from them again. They should be pretty much um, disregarded. We will never ever respect them. But as time progressed, we're seeing that the popularity of negativity is so great. Most people were cheering it on. They were acting like it was the norm, like it was something funny about it. And to me, that was very crazy because I'm looking at it from this perspective. I seen people in my neighborhood get crack. Well, I would say get crack rocks from a drug dealer. They would get pulled over about probably 4 hours later when they're high, get jailed, have one or two crack rocks, get a year in prison, get removed from their families. It'll be the mother or the father. The kids later on, within a month, get kicked out of the place that they're at. They have to go live with their grandparents. The mother or the father just lost the place that they got. They're kicked off the program. It was just catastrophic. And to see something like that being the norm of popularity to be negative and to not have any type of punishment for those type of actions that this young man did, it really shocked me. It showed me that wow, this is something that they feel and cheer, and they act like it's funny now. You know, I was watching when I was watching this man's trial. I'm not going to say his name, but all I'm going to say is, you already know about the trial that's going on in the rap community. One of the biggest rap moguls that's in the moguls in the whole world, and this gentleman's being put on trial. And some of the stuff he did, people are making fun of it like it's comedy. But if you really look at it from a real, true adult perspective, it was brought on by people cheering on the popularity of negativity. While this man was doing it, I looked at how many people supported him that were in the artist community, in the sports community, in the political community, in all types of communities. These people came out to be around this man while he did all these things in front of them. And they even participated in them themselves. They promoted negativity. While this man was shooting people, beating women, selling drugs, doing all this type of activity, these people were promoting it. They were allowing it. They were making it the popular thing to do. And this to me also had an effect on society, how people started to perceive and see life itself. Um, that's why my first topic was the popularity of negativity, because it became so popular now to be so negative, to be so fake. We even have people that I've seen that have not worked a day in their life, that have murdered people, sold drugs, had sexual intercourse with kids, have baby mothers that are underage, and people are deeming them to be popular for going to jail and murdering people in the community. And then later on, the person gets out and trying to talk to me about white supremacy. And I'm looking at them in the back of my mind, thinking like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? Didn't this man murder an innocent little boy that was defenseless just because he was from another side, and he was over here visiting one of his family members? And just because he had a coat or a hat on, he shot him and popped him. And now the same man sold dope all in our community, had beef, had multiple families getting shot, people get killed. Never went back, said nothing to none of the family members that he put all this type of pressure on. Never went back to the community, helped out nobody to get no jobs. Never did nothing at all, but came out of nowhere trying to tell me about white supremacy. And I'm looking at him because I'm thinking to myself, my brother, you had the same supremacy over your own people and kept them in bondage and chains and destroyed them by attacking them just because they were living their lives in a peaceful manner. And you had some type of hatred and wanted to deem yourself better or greater or wanted to put some force of type of negative energy because it was popular and you had the popularity in your community to do so. And instead of doing something greater, you did something out of pocket. I don't get into everything, but I got people I'm related to, friends, everybody else I know. These people then did time, then killed people and murdered people. I don't judge nobody, right? But what I do, I listen to people. And sometimes I'll listen to these people and their conversations, they're talking shit out of their mouth like their mouth is a fucking butthole toilet of shit just spewing out. And I'm thinking to myself, you don't understand how lucky and how much the Most High favored you to be in a better position now. Because I'm thinking to myself, all my friends that didn't make it and the ones that were innocent and the shit that you did of murdering, setting people up, your own family members, friends, people around you, causing chaos in the community, and you don't see nothing that you did as bad, and you think it's popular to still do that shit and talk about people, and you damn near in your 40s and 50s and your 60s, and you still doing this type of ratchet, underhanded, young adult minded, evil shit. Because a kid I can forgive, they don't know no better. They're not really unlocked in the mind yet. But an adult that does this and preaches this to children and teaches people this and don't want to take accountability for nothing that they done and then think it's a popular thing to use negativity as a way of dominance and then want to tell me about white supremacy when you have nothing but hatred supremacy over your own people. It's really crazy out here. That's crazy activity. That's a crazy minded person working. And that's what I'm saying to you. Popularity and negativity is something that has plagued society and also my culture for a while. With that effect, we're looking at what I'm going to go into my next topic, but right now I'm going to tie this in first. The music within our culture, within the popularity of it being negative. The music itself brought a lot of people who were hardworking, honest people down to a low vibration plateau where the only way they feel they had to survive is to compromise with the popularity of negativity that was placed around them because people were so afraid and so much wanting to be not left behind and felt that it was deemed better to collaborate with people that had nothing in common with them but the fact that they looked like them and they had more people backing them to cause destruction. Because you see, some of the music that we have right now is pretty much from the origins of what came from the past. Our community has had a lot of good hearted type of, building and spiritual music. With the introduction of certain type of elements within that music and people and other people coming in to bring in a serpent type of mindset and cause chaos and confusion, like I was saying earlier, and the popularity of negativity. As you can see, I can give you one example. When you're listening to Public Enemy, the counter to Public Enemy would have been NWA. Now, I'm not saying NWA was bad. I'm not saying NWA was the worst thing ever, but I'm saying to you that from something that wanted to build you up and teach you knowledge and teach you self-control and to tell you about achieving, we went to another side that taught you something about being a gangster. Make sure you have your gun. Never leave the house without packing a gun. I'm slinging dope and fuck a punk bitch. it counters. And what happened was the powers that be persuade this to be the norm for our community. So the effect was catastrophic. Now, understanding, I'm not talking about that none of these people didn't make changes within their lives and see that the bad or the damage that they did. I'm just saying to you that accountability for the shit that happened to multiple people was not taken by a lot of these people. You know what I mean? So the popularity of negativity was one of the biggest aspects that caused the Achilles heel to our community to break down. And it brought in a lot of other stuff. Now, another thing I heard too that a gentleman was talking to me about was people from other nationalities saying the word nigga. So, nigga being a popular term, but negative in our community amongst our adults and the elders, because most of the elders that are educated and had good minds, they never verbalized or talked in that manner of saying, "Hey, what's up, nigga?" You know, the people that I grew up with in my days, they talk proper English. They didn't use any type of verbal, how can I say this, rude dispositions of intellect. They use all highly intelligent intellect. So when that word became very popular, it was deemed as something you would only say in your household. It wasn't a word that we threw out there in front of others to use. But through music, it being expressed through all the songs, um, the popularity of negative music becoming the hierarchy of our society, it became a norm for other people to use those words. And those words became a attack tool or a tactic, because now what people can do is, since it's popular, they can use them in front of you. Now, they can use them in multiple different ways to offend you, to discourage you, to annoy you, or just to say in order to rattle you. And you can't really approach them in a manner to get upset, because it's so popular now for the artists or the people of our nationality to use that like it's normal. Okay. And what they have done is they have told other people, oh, it's okay to use it. I don't care. My fans can say it. They paid money for me to perform. They can say anything, N word this and N word that. So that opens the door to a lot of rude activity, rude demeanor, rude people with crude intentions sometimes. We know human beings are not the most sane thinking. We know a lot of people suffer from mental health in America. So sometimes people will say things in order to, like I stated, trigger you. Or sometimes just because they can say it, don't mean they're saying it in a proper manner. So the popularity of negativity and within every aspect has become the norm. And my perception of this through the music was one of the biggest outlets. Because the music dictated the clothing, it dictated the attitude, it dictated the concept of lifestyle of who we were, it dictated the projection of what we wanted to see from a perspective of a person that was given their journalism through the narrative of a person of our color. And some of them didn't give good journalism skills. They gave the most vulgar of skills. And this opened a door to make everything that's vulgar, ignorant, rude, out of pocket, the norm. But some of the people that did do the music that was in my era of hip hop, rap, or anything else brought a good perspective. But there's always a yin to a yang. And in society of America's culture of Western civilization, it's always been the norm for negativity to be much more popular, as we can see through the hangings of black people, the murdering of black young boys and girls, the burning of towns, the flooding of towns. These were deemed to be popular because America had a negative disposition towards people of a certain color and race. And with that being said, as progressed, you know, time goes and it progresses on, um, people start to understand what they did, but at the same time, it's still popular to just be out of pocket. That's why we see that the same form of racism has not really gone anywhere. And like I was stating to you about people being LGBTQ, people being um, deemed to be polarized as people that are put on ice on the sidelines. They're not seen to be the popular norm, even though we're in an accepting society of acceptance. There's still the negative popularity of using whatever word to batter a person just because they think a different way that people want to go ahead and display in any time, in any form, any shape. Because remember, the freedom to be whoever you are, like I just stated, he, she, her, him. To be a person that wants to wear clothing made by garbage material. You can do that. You can be in a group full of people doing that. That's the norm. That's something that people are pretty much accepting. So this popularity and negativity comes from a long history and a long line of, I would say, negativity being expressed here in this country and not being limited. It's just on the uprise. We can't really put a stop to it. And as we go and progress, we see it happening more and more. And as the years go on and we keep going on, more negativity becomes popular. It becomes so normalized that people think it's okay to do stuff that's out of pocket. Like I was stating to you, you have people that are using the N word that are not even of your own nationality. You have people using racial slurs like it's okay. You have people saying stuff to people that is racially motivated because they feel like it's popular and it's said on television. It's said in music. It's said on this TV show. It's said by these people online. Everything is up in the air. There's no true foundation of anything anymore. Everything is up for grabs. It has nothing, no bearings. It's just a whirlwind of chaos, confusion. So, with that, I'm going to go to my next topic. My next topic is the music effect on culture. Like I was saying, the music effect on our culture stems from the popularity of negativity. Now, before, most of the rappers I grew up with, they didn't even curse. They can give you hot 16s with no cursing. They can give you a whole song with no cursing that have substance, that has some type of good quality of understanding. It had knowledge in it, and it had a message. It had something that gave you some insight to real, true evolution of thinking or a process of completing something. But as we got to the yin for the yang, we seen that they brought in the popularity of negative music. Now, the effect on that was now men are calling women more bitches and hoes. Now men are saying this woman is a piece of ish. Now women are saying this man is a broke piece of shit. This man has no value, but not in so many type of um words. They're expressing it in every vulgar way that they can. It became the norm. And as it became the norm, as time progressed throughout the years, it has become a part of the culture. So being a bad bitch is a part of the culture. Not being a fuck nigga is a part of the culture. You know, none of these two things have anything to do with being an educated person. Has nothing to do with building your community and buying a property. Has nothing to do with taking responsibility for all the drugs that you brought there and murdering and killing people. It has nothing to do with going back and making amends with all your people and coming together and building some type of congregation of peace amongst each other to build up your people and to make a much more better, stronger foundation for the children and other people to see. It has nothing to do with you healing people and forgiving people for things that had done in the past. It's more of a you don't have it, you're nothing. You can't produce it, you ain't nobody. This became the norm in our community. When you allow things like that to be the norm, you pretty much are going to see an effect in the long run. So now we're starting to see the popularity of negativity in our culture through the music that it plays out with the children. Now the children are running around with switches. They're running around ready to Swiss cheese people. I mean, they're ready to put bullets in individuals just based upon the fact that they look different from a different side. They wear a different type of clothing. They have a different type of demeanor of style. They're isolating each other. They're being the same person that you claim that you were against. They're using supremacy, a racial supremacy against each other. But when we put in this music that we're against supremacy of those who try to pretty much ostracize us in this society, we're doing the same thing that they do because of the effects in our culture of the negative popularity of the music that we project, that we want others to somehow see us in. Now, I'm not saying every artist out there is looking to get a negative perspective on life, but the majority of the ones that are pushed to the forefront because of the music and how it sounds so good and how everybody is just got to go with the flow. You know that word, just go with the flow. Sometimes it's not good to go with the flow. You see what I mean? Because what, like I just said, what everybody's doing is not what you should be doing. Sometimes you need to build on yourself to get better and to get much more stronger and find an inner strength in yourself to figure out what you want to do in life. And going with everybody else is not going to get you there because everybody else has other plans. And some people are not thinking in a proper manner. I apologize. Somebody outside doing fireworks. Not even supposed to be doing fireworks near where I live at. But like I said, what's popular is being negative. And even though they told these people they'll be kicked out of this place if they do so, but yet and still, you know, the popularity of it being the 4th of July and everybody else having fireworks, everybody has to do what everybody else does. Yeah, it's the norm now. So if the music is projecting you to walk around here and to sexually harass women, to rape women, to impregnate women and not take care of children because society has given young men tons of money and they have put it to be the norm to be negative and be rude, the effect will only cause chaos throughout these communities and society itself as a whole. If you look at thus far from the 80s to now, we only have progressed as human beings with digital technology. When it comes to medicine, we have not progressed. When it comes to education, we have not progressed really. When it comes to solving national disasters and things that affect us as a whole on this earth, we have not progressed. Remember, we still have places in the ocean that have plastic the size of small cities and towns. And they haven't even been able to pick this up. But yet and still, they're able to make it popular for people to walk around here, to be ignorant and rude, to want to fight each other and place it in music and to have the effect cause all chaos throughout society. If you don't understand, look back at 2021. The effect of taking Molly because rappers talked about it. I'm not going to name any rappers. I'm not going to name anybody. It was placed in movies. There were actors in movies taking mollies on TV shows. Then rappers rapping about it. Most of these artists didn't do any molly, but as you can see, the effect of molly led to fentanyl. The effect of fentanyl within American culture led to tons of people being on the street now doing crocodile and other drugs. So what was really the true popularization? What was it for to popularize this type of negativity in this society? Think about it. They made it popular from one perspective, from television shows, from movies, depicted it through artists and songs. These songs now are played by people on every type of social media music platform, which caused a lot of kids, a lot of young people from every nationality to want to do Molly. The Molly then led them to harder drugs. The harder drugs became fentanyl. Fentanyl led these young kids to become dope fiends. From dope fiends, as we can see, when the Biden administration was in office, led to tons of crime because these young people had to get high all the time. They had to get money for it. They couldn't get it from their parents anymore. They couldn't get it from going to work because going to work would stop them from going out and getting high every day. So what we had going on in society, what? Everything was closed down. People were stealing from each other. COVID was going on. And all young people were experimenting on through the effects of the culture of music. The popularity of negativity was done once again. And it hit us all in a hole. And we were all broken down for it because every person in America experienced being around somebody that was your neighbor, your friend, your cousin, your auntie, your brother, your uncle, um, any person you knew, your teacher, your homeroom friend, whoever it was on these drugs. But what made them so popular in the culture of society of America culture that was the norm? Everybody was doing it. There was dances for it, rock stars talking about it, emo singers claiming they want to die, taking it on stage. I'm not sure if you guys don't remember the I think it was a young gentleman. He was a emo rap star. He actually died doing the Molly on stage in front of his singers. Nobody doesn't even remember. I mean, he was with his singers, him, his band, or other musicians, and he's on stage. He took a Molly on stage. Within probably an hour or so, he passed out. People thought it was some type of performance. This man died on stage. To this day, people don't even care about this man because you know why? Our society has popularized being negative so much, it became a norm. As we go on through this time and we progress as human beings in this American society, what are we really doing? Are we allowing this to become a normal activity for people to use more dope, to use more drugs, to see people pass out and die in front of them, to see kids overdose because your favorite artist is talking about drugs that they don't even do, and they're being endorsed by major medical companies to sell these things, and they're getting incentives and kickbacks on the side. So we have to understand the popularity of negativity affects the music, the culture, society. Society then affects the people within it. The people within it affects the way everything is moving, progressing. That progression also affects the children's growth, and it affects everything that we engage in, interact with on a daily basis. That's why when you look at a lot of these type of systems that they're bringing to us, think about it. These systems are isolation systems, glasses you put on your eyes that bring you to a virtual world. We just came from being in COVID where everybody was locked down in a virtual world. And real true thought, who the fuck wants to be in a world where it's virtual again? You have to see a lot of this stuff is the popularity of negativity. And through years and years of living in my own skin and growing and maturing, all I see is this becoming the norm. And we don't know how to stop it for some apparent reason. It's like a thing that people just think that because one person's doing it, everybody should do it. And remember, it's like, okay, if these four kids get Michael Jordan tennis shoes, I need to get them too because they got them. Because if I don't get them, I won't fit in. And whoever has them, people are going to come around them and say, "Ooh, look, ooh, he has a new shoe. Ooh, look at those shoes. How much did you pay for them?" Become so popular. You know, what is so popular about buying a pair of plastic shoes that's going to wear down within less than a year and have no true value after you buy them? And just to say you have a pair of shoes that have no value. Even I myself have been guilty of this because this society, this is all they have taught us. But some way we have to break this type of mind spell. We have to learn how to progress outside of it. It may be hard, it may take a moment, but at least we could understand that we're trying to make an effort to do so. Once again, there's somebody outside letting off some M80s. They're not even supposed to be doing those, but once again, it's popular. Yeah, that's why on the Rose Room Discussion podcast show, I talk about things that other people won't talk about. I'm not going to get into celebrity gossip. I'm not going to get into your favorite stars and their butt cheek sizes. I'm not going to get into who they're dating. I'm not going to get into nobody's sexual romances. I'm not going to get into no racial debates. These are things that I don't touch. Okay? I touch what's going on that's affecting you right now in this time, in this day, in this moment, and in this age that we live in. These are the discussions and the topics that we need to talk about. You know, why is everything being demonized? Why is it popular to be so rude, disrespectful, hurt people, disrespect people, and walk on people? I know we all have sometimes when we feel bad intentions of people, but think about it. You don't feel these bad intentions every day. If you feel these every day about a person, I suggest you go get some psychological help. Because that makes no logical sense for you to have a hatred for a person every day. Even a person I see that I may not get along with one day, I may let it go the next day because it's not that serious to me. It's a part of life. You know, when I was a kid, we would go outside and be on our bikes and, have little disagreements. We would fight each other. Next week, we plan again. It's normal life. I'll be on my bike, fall on the ground, scratch my arm. I'll still be cool. I'll cry that day. Next day, I'm back at it. I'll probably cry that hour. Next few minutes, I'm back outside playing with my friends. When did it become so important that to where now that I hurt myself on that arm, my arm on the ground, that I want to destroy this area where this ground is at? Go get a sledgehammer and beat the living shit out of the ground and break all of the brick on the ground. For what purpose? What I'm saying to you, it has become the norm to be popular, to be bad, to be rude, to be evil, to be disrespectful, to be out of pocket, to dislike people, to have hatred for people, to blame people for your own personal endeavors. Some mistakes are your own. That's what I had to learn in life. Over my 40 something years of life, I had to learn that some of the mistakes I made were my own. Most of the majority of the stuff I had to own up for it. That's why I don't really get into, close quarters with people that I don't have good vibrations with. I respect them. I love them. I have nothing but the best intention for them. But when it comes to my well being, that's something I have to understand for myself. What is the righteous way to go? What is the better path? I don't let my negative feelings or emotions want me or push me to go and affect other people around me by pulling out a weapon and hurting somebody just because I have a disagreement with them. It's not that serious. So, the effects in the society of the popularity of negative activity, negative music, negative culture, negative thinking has caused us a lot of problems. And sometimes these people that you think are celebrities or entertainers, they benefit from it. Um, and some of them, they're gonna have to take accountability when the Most High comes. You're gonna see these people. They're gonna be begging. They're gonna have chains around their neck, fall into the pits of hot lava, of hell. Because you have to stand up as a man and say, you know what, maybe I did something wrong to certain people. Maybe me making this song projected the wrong image to a bunch of young little boys, and it's the reason why they went out and grabbed these four little girls over here and had them prostituting. And one of these little girls catches AIDS. Then she comes back home, gives it to another little boy, and now he's affected. And now people are making fun of that little boy. Now this little boy goes outside, gets a gun, and shoots 12 people. So you got to understand, your popularity of negativity and the things that you project out to the universe and what you create can affect other people around you and society and the cultures around you. And we all have to have accountability for what we have done. Now, I'm not saying that I'm against any artistry of music or rap or anything of that nature. No, I'm just saying that we all have to understand that the whole true purpose of this society in America that we have to change is the negative popularity perspective. It's not a good one because it's affecting everything around us, from culture to how we treat each other, to how we communicate with each other, to how we see each other. You know what I mean? People see me as being a male of my nationality. And whenever I go somewhere, because of what they have seen on rap songs or heard about where I'm from, they think that somehow I'm going to be like those people. So they think that they need to either remove me from the area, not allow me to be there, or they don't want to have any type of engagement with me because they think I'm going to say something wrong to them. I'm going to attack them. I'm going to go insane on them, or they can't communicate with me. And it's up to us to change things. But I know the society is peer pressure because, like I said, you're hearing the 4th of July fireworks going off, and they just said in this county, they didn't want no fireworks going off because we just had I think it was 7 major fires, and we don't want to repeat what happened in 2023 or 22 when we had the big fire and the whole damn state was damn near blacked out, or the sky was red. People couldn't even walk around. But the popularity of doing something that's negative is so justified that who's going to stop the norm? To me, I feel like we can do visual digital arts of fireworks. But, this is what we get in this day and age. Nobody wants to cohere to any of the rules. So, yeah, my perspective on the popularity of negativity affecting our community brought a lot of gun violence in. It brought a lot of hatred, self-hatred towards each other in our culture. Young men using the same supremacy that they would claim that white supremacists would use. Running down people. Because back in the days, remember, these people would run black men down with shotguns, chase them on horses, shoot them in the head, shoot them in the chest. Over 70 shots by shotgun shells, by revolvers for one little black child. And then when you look in today, in this day and age, people say, oh, I'm breaking the norm. I don't like supremacy or racism and all that. Then what are you doing when you see another person of your own nationality just because they're from another city wearing a different type of clothing, and then you're chasing them down, killing them and murdering them in the same type of way that these people did your ancestors? What effect do you think that has on you in the long run, or your family, or your children, or the culture around you of people who have to deal with the outcome when you go to jail, that these people's family members going to come back looking for somebody else in that area. The same area in the same cities and states and towns where your great great grandmothers and aunties and uncles and family members were hunted down in the same manner. You repeat the same type of actions. They had a Mustang actual horse, you have a Mustang actual vehicle. They had that horsepower, you got this horsepower. They had revolvers, you got a gun that keeps going. And it keeps revolving unlimitedly because it has a switch on it. And it has semi-automatic power. And it's just going off. And now instead of you just hitting that one person, you're hitting multiple people. Because of the effect of what you're listening to and the popularity of negativity. This is a deep thing. This is really deep. It's psychologically deep. And it's something in the society that we have to really start to look at. Because I believe a lot of this comes from issues of mental health. Hatred for people is mental health. Why are you concerned about what another person is doing and what they look like too much? You know what I mean? Just because they're yellow, orange, green, purple, blue, that's not your problem. If you don't like them, go find somewhere else to go. If you don't want to be near them, do what all most adults do. Don't pay any attention to them. Worry about yourself. Be peaceful. You see what I mean? Like I said to you, it's something going on here that we need to fix in a real way. And a lot of people are suffering from it and they don't even understand what they're suffering from because they're not willing to see it for what it is. And the first thing to do, like I said, for myself, I had to take accountability. I started seeing that being around people and hanging with people that had a bad perspective of other people because of their race, nationality, where they was from, their income, their disposition in life, I let that alone. I matured a little bit more to understand that that's not a part of life. And I'm not going to let somebody dictate me what I can think about anybody or anything else. Because I'm not going to let something affect me mentally to where my mind state is going to change who I am as a human being and how I treat people of my own race, nationality, or culture based upon a fucking song or some fucking trend that will be out of here next week. And now the effects of what I did to somebody based upon that song, I have to live with, and other people have to. Yeah, it got it going off right now. Wow. It's like a damn gunshot, huh? But yeah. I'm gonna get to my last and final topic. And that is it good or bad? Is it good or bad in certain ways? Okay, so to me it can be good because the progression of music has opened up doors. It has opened up people's perspective of what goes on in these urban communities. It has opened up people's perspective what goes on in other nationalities in their communities. Because remember, a lot of these young kids from every race, from Russian to Irish to German to African to Asian, they communicate through this music. You're seeing artists come from all over the world. They're telling you about things that happen with apartheid, discrimination, sexual discrimination, war crimes, hate crimes. They're showing you everything that's going on and painting a vivid picture through their music. And with their music, they're being able to open up doors, which is a good thing. See what I mean? It's a good thing because now we have a mutual ground to communicate on. And when you're able to communicate with people through something that you like, they like, that draws a good cohesion amongst each other. And it also brings together some collaboration of understanding. Because sometimes I won't know what a person's going through because of how they look. I would think because they're a certain race that they're rich. When I was a kid, I thought every person that came from the Middle East had oil. So my first thing is when I seen a person from the Middle East with the thing wrapped around the females and all, I'm saying, oh wow, they must be from a place where they got tons of gold and oil, and they must live good, and you know they must go to places where it's just nice and beautiful and hot and it's nice and sunny, and and this is my mind because I don't know anything. I'm not. You got to understand, my projection of something is only what I see in my society. That's my circumference of where I'm at. So when I'm in that position of seeing things, only my perspective is the television and what I see. Now, when I first heard an artist from the Middle East telling me about the poverty, how it really was in Egypt, how it was in certain places, how all these things are going on, and then I started to really dig into the information and look at the Middle East, look at the wars, look at the history. I said, oh, wow, it's not what I thought it was. Just like when I met this guy from Japan that was cool with. I didn't know that Japan had um, certain things going on. I didn't know that they had a hip hop culture. I didn't know that they had all these type of things happening up over there. Just going online talking to this dude, it woke me up. Then listening to some music from these females from Japan. They were Japanese. They were rapping. You know, if I would never seen them, I would have thought they were some just normal females here from United States rapping. But when I seen the video, I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even know they get down like that. So what I'm trying to state to you is that in one way it's good because it shows and opens the doors for a lot of different things. It shows a diversity in a lot of people and what they're accomplishing through these type of you know, pathways of platforms and this energy and this vibration that's coming from a special type of ingredient that we added to this life that we live on this planet. And it's called music, you know, and the popularity of it and the effect of it was able to go everywhere and to create a vibration of collaboration with everybody. Now you got artists from every place collaborating with each other. I did a song with a guy that was from I think he was from the UK, United Kingdom. So I didn't even know I can do stuff like that, until I did it. Because I had worked with only artists here in the United States. I worked with my family members, my cousin, my brothers, my other cousin, some of my friends, a guy from St. Louis, dude from Louisiana, a female from Texas, a dude from Seattle. I was only doing stuff in this area. I didn't know nothing about people can rap good. And because I was like, I don't know. But then, like I said, he sounded pretty cool. So I took that chance. And good thing I did take that chance because now that puts me on a platform way somewhere else. Now people can know about me way over there in those places. So it's good to me on that perspective. Now, the part to me that I would think to make it bad, and that would be the situational awareness of too much vulgar language and the dialogue that's used to pretty much belittle my people. Now, the part that I'm saying with that is that like this. When I hear other people say the N word, I get kind of on check mode. I want to let them know that, hey, do you understand the whole origins of this word? Are you saying it just because you're saying it just because you just want to say it? Are you really living this actual lifestyle? Do you connect with our people? Are you out here protesting for reparations? Are you looking to help black women to have laws passed to protect them from being raped, disrespected, human trafficked, from being murdered? Because it's a lot that comes with certain words. Damn. Might let off an M80 again. Right up over here in the parking lot. It's all good. But yeah, when you hear that word, what does it really mean to you? because it's not something to me that's like a joke word. It's a whole knowledge, information. It's a gathering. It's a genius. It's a authorization. The word has meaning to it. It's just not used just to say it. So I feel some type of way. And then, like I stated to you, in our language, we make up different type of little slang. Some of the slangs become very catchy. But then now, when you hear other people using the slang and the words, they don't really use them right. Like I seen this girl, and she said, "Oh, you seem like a nigga that have a lot of something." She was saying something like, "I have a lot of women." I was like, "What are you talking about?" But she's using the terminology that she heard a rapper say, and she's trying to describe me in that terminology. And I'm saying to her, "I have no clue what you're talking about. I don't know what you're saying. I don't even live that type of lifestyle." And then she's depicting me based upon the clothing I'm wearing. And I'm not sagging my pants. I don't sag my pants. I'm not wearing a bandana. I'm not with anything that had the turf or the set on the block, the hood, the numbers. I don't have nothing on that. She has none of this type of stuff on. So her perspective of popularity was negative, and the effect of what our culture put through this music, she perceived that it's a good thing to come to me and talk to me in that manner. But I told her it was a bad thing because she doesn't know what she's talking about in that manner. And that's the same thing I was just saying to you about using the N word. Do you really know what it means? Are you truly in that struggle? Are you looking to help these people in that struggle? Are you coming to these places because they're shutting these projects down? They have gotten rid of the majority of kids that were in the recent program in United States of America um, that was shut down were of people of my nationality, Job Corps. So within Job Corps, they estimate that over probably 70% of those kids that are of my nationality will be homeless for a while. Okay, because a lot of them didn't have no place to go. So now when you're looking at using these words, using this type of culture lifestyle, are you looking at what's going on in the culture? Are you looking to help the culture better improve themselves? Are you looking to guide people in that culture? Are you looking to really live that life within that culture? Or are you just using those words based upon the popularity of it? And then you're looking down upon people who are going through this type of stuff that's going to be the next faces within this culture that will lead this culture. And then what are you saying? That you only have a vibe with people that are popular in the culture? You don't understand the struggles of the culture? Because most of these people that are talking to you now that are rapping came from that culture of struggling and had those type of same vibes of not having food, not having a good car, not having new tennis shoes. That's why they talk about this and they have that type of spirit within them of fight and knowledge and information, and they can give you that game of where it came from. So you got to really understand. You got to take the good with the bad. You got to take the bad with the good. But at the same time, you got to understand what you're doing. Is it good or is it bad? What is the value of it? And you can't project your personal imagery of what you think in your mind is going on with other people of one culture based upon the popularity of negative music and the effect within that culture and how it's coming to you. Because the way you perceive it and the way you interact with a person from that culture, it may be a bad experience or maybe a good experience. It's based upon your humbleness. And with any culture that we come in contact with or any person we come in contact with, it's always a knowledgeable session of learning because you have to learn something from a person. You're going to learn about how they talk to you. You're going to learn about how they project things, how they feel, how their conversation is on a educational purpose. Is it on a lower level vibration purpose? Is it on a highly intelligent purpose? You're going to learn from them. Are they honest are forthcoming of truth. So we learn on a daily basis. So this is something that I want people to take in, to understand that everything has an effect, and negativity sometimes is not the most popular thing for us to project and to think that other people in our cultures are not affected by it. And just because you listen to some music does not mean that everybody else is on the same vibration as that. We all have different mindsets, all feelings, emotions, have our own different goals. We all have our own different way of handling things mentally or spiritually. Sorry about that. I'm gonna do one thing. I gotta put one more segment for my metas onto my other platform. They kind of went off right now because I've been talking for a little bit. So I'm gonna pop them back on. All right. So yeah, um, we are in a place and age now where everything is pretty much on a large plateau. Nothing is hidden anymore. So the popularity of negative activity and negativity within our society, we know that's a norm now. The way it affected music, which is rap culture and all types of music within cultures, is seen through everything I expressed to you: drugs, sexualization, um, sexuality, maturity, and violence. Is it good or is it bad? I explained to you that these situations can be good because the music can open up doors from different generations, different ages, different races, different cultures, different lifestyles to give people a better perspective. But it's bad when you're coming at a person with something that's popular, that's negative, that you don't know the effects to their culture and what they had to go through. And what you're saying sometimes can lead to a whole different event by you just being out of pocket and not thinking properly. So this has been a Rose Room Discussion podcast hosted by me, MLRose. I want to thank you if you tuned in. All rights reserved by my trademark, Intelligent Sounds. And you hear my slappers in the background. I'm gonna leave you with that. I'm gonna sign off with my metas. You'll see this on my social media platform for the content. All right.